So as part of this opening session, we now want to give an overview and state of play on social farming Ireland. So for that, we're joined by Brian Smyth, and Brian, as National Project Manager of Social Farming Ireland, is best placed to give us that overview. And Brian has over 20 years experience in social inclusion, community and rural development with the Leitrim Development Company, and has been involved in social farming since 2006. So Brian was one of the first group who really took on the challenge of social farming. So I think he's really well placed to give us a sense of the state of where it's at the moment. Brian.
Thank you, Jim. You're all very welcome, and thanks for getting into the boat and putting your hand to the oar for social farming. It's been quite a long time in development, and there's been many different stages. We had a conference about 4 years ago to take stock, and we're back here again now after COVID to do the same. So I'll give you a very quick run through of what's been happening. And it takes a lot of people with different views, different perspectives to make social farming what it is today. And so an awful lot of people have done that. So thank you. And we hope that you will keep that oar in your hand and help to take the boat forward, as is Joanne's analogy there, for the next few years, and bring social farming into the mainstream and make it something that's there for accessible for everybody who wants it. Okay, so I have a presentation. I think it's up, or maybe going to be up, but I'll start anyway. So the key values for social inclusion, which I'll start with. Inclusion itself is a value. It's inclusive. People are given the opportunity to be a part of something that they choose. Choice is very important. People participate. Pardon? Oh, sorry, clickers here. So it's a planned process where people take part on the farm. They choose it. They make it an active choice. So each participant decides that's something they want or not, and they take part. And like Joanne said, choice is very important to give people a full life. People participate in the goals they want to achieve there. And the placements on farms are now very valued, because people see what they mean and the benefits, and Aisling will follow that in her research that we've done on the benefits and values, or a value in it. It's focused on creating some goals and outcomes for people who take part. Our catchphrase is that we provide new opportunities. We're connecting people, new opportunities for people to experience something new, to try something new, to go in a different direction, new direction. We're connecting people to the natural environment, to nature, to the seasons, and to other people, and also connecting them in their community, and we're enhancing lives in the process. Sorry. So it's all about people, and making connections between people, for people, and with people. So it's very much delivering on policy, and when we establish social farming, as we go through it, we are delivering on policy, international policy, and Irish policy, both disability and mental health, which we're focused on today. Policy like New Directions, government adopted policy, and sharing the vision in mental health service. It's based on a social and community model of support rather than a medical and clinical model. We all understand and know that. And the participation is a key part of the value, and offering a high level of variety and interest, as farms do. They're very ordinary places. There's no new constructions. There's nothing constructed to give people participation. And it allows people to make choice and decision making on a daily and hourly basis on the farm. Fosters and encourages inclusion and recovery in the local community, where people can be dislocated from for many reasons. We're challenging societal perceptions that people, farms are not safe. That's not the case. If you plan these things, arrange them safely, it can be a perfectly safe place for people to get support. We provide an opportunity for people to be themselves and to see themselves as valued, independent, and visible citizens in their communities. And it happens in a very ordinary setting, which is the family farm. And they play a very important and valuable role in providing food, in biodiversity, in climate, and now in providing support to people who need that in the community. So farms are still very valuable in our communities and will be, and we would hope that they will continue to have value in providing support for a wide range of people. So where are we at? There's a lot of work put in by an awful lot of people, as Joanne said. Everybody who's got on board and into this canoe or boat to row forward with the idea and concepts of social farming from the very beginning has helped deliver that solid foundation and evidence base. So the people who go there speak of the benefits for themselves personally. The farmers speak about it, farm families speak about it, and you will hear that from the fireside chat later. And the services and advocates. I'm involved as a parent of a young person with disability, and I can tell you the benefits that I see and hear all the time. We're delivering unmet need for new, under policy direction where people are given choices or more choice, and there's growing need and demand, and particularly post-COVID. We were a lot more outdoors and involved in that, and of course, with the new arrivals of Ukrainians. So there's always growing need, an unmet need. We've had a very strong support from our Department of Agriculture, and I'd like to acknowledge that today. I know that there are some people online and from the department here today. We have made sure that it's safe, that nobody's been taken advantage of, and that people are safe when they're participating. That's key, because there's a long history of people in many institutions being taken advantage of. So it's very important to safeguard people when they're vulnerable and to make sure that the practice is safe and that it's good quality and that it meets the guidelines, HICWA and other things. So that is being built in from the very beginning. So, and that's been part of the experience for everybody contributing. We have an exceptional network of social farmers now in the country and with the other projects that the Department of Agriculture supports. And that's a strong network and building all the time. And there's now up to 10 years of experience amongst those farms and farm families in Ireland, which is a remarkable achievement in itself. And we have a huge and hard-working team across the 4 local development companies and the other local development companies that we interact with. I think there's 18 local development companies attending in some way our part today, and we're part of that network, and that network has been vital. But our 3 colleague companies in West Limerick, Southwest Mayo Development and Waterford Leader Partnership have been exceptional. So very quickly, we have roughly 120 active farmers, over 600 people trained, 3,400 days roughly in 2021. 77% of those were fully commissioned, paid for through various funding streams, including the Minister's Healthy Ireland funds. And participants with disabilities are approximately 58% of the participants last year, and 27 from who are in recovery. We have quite a lot of research work done, and again, Aisling will speak about that, and you can check in on our website. And we're supporting students across the various, through our research project, various institutions, the Atlantic Technical University now, in Letterkenny, Trinity, and I know we have some representatives today from UCC as well who are providing some, and Aisling speaks to the OT students there, so and into UCD. So we have quite a lot of interaction there. We have interactions on this boat, rowing ahead with social farming, with over 300 service providers and advocates groups who are interacting. So we have approximately 1,500 placement days. So there's huge growth potential, and you will hear from people from the Netherlands today, where there's 1,200 farms. 2.4% of the farming population are social farms. And in Ireland, that's way smaller. So there is huge potential for growth. And obviously the number of participants in the Netherlands, 30,000 versus 330 roughly per. Sorry, there's the figures there. So that's some of the figures I've given you. So we have all these things built, and that's where we have arrived at today. So I suppose what some of the challenges that we can see, we are looking to mainstream social farming because we're putting together the funding from a variety of different sources, and that seems to us to be unsustainable in the longer term. And for instance, with Healthy Ireland, which the Minister referred to, we've made applications in the last number of years to 14 counties. The funding comes through the Department of Health into PUBL and then is divided up to local authorities where we have to make applications, submit work plans, interim reports, final reports and financial returns. So there's a lot of work generated by accessing the funding in this case. And these funds have been vital part of getting this boat downstream and directing us with the compass that Joanne talked about to the future. And you can see the various supply services and people who have benefited. So what other challenges do we see? Obviously, service reform, mental health services, disability service and change, and even COVID impacts. And it is hard to keep up with that when you're dealing with up to 300 different services and across. We're dealing with the Department of Education Skills, Department of Justice, Health, HSE. So service reform and change is a continuing challenge, and to keep up with it, and I suppose to fit or to bring social farming into that harbour where it's very busy, and to find a place for it to mainstream it and to launch it into the mainstream so that people can access it. We have increasing demand and need. And I said that has even changed in the last 2 years of COVID, which was completely unknown, as is the Ukrainian issues. So we really are looking towards sustainable and accessible national funding for social farming, whether through the payment to farmers for the capital or the costs and the voluntary arrangements such in carry, or for direct payments to the farmers as we provide. So when the farmers are active, they're paid, and when their time and support. And of course, there's a slow rate of policy change seeing itself turn up in action, and that's Sláinte Care, personalised budgets, etc. So the solutions are to carve out that national fund, which is dedicated to bringing social farming into the mainstream and making the places accessible for anybody who wants to choose them in any part of the country. Now we have farmers everywhere. And we are speaking with Minister Rabbitte, who has been very supportive and provided some funding through the Disability Integration Fund, and obviously Minister Feehan, who's been very accessible and very supportive, and in the new department that Minister Rabbitte is setting up. But we also want to see the implementation of personalised budgets for people with disability so that they can make their own choices. So that's a very quick view of where we are and where we see this going in the future. And we'd like you to help, I suppose, to put your hand to the oar and help us to move forward from here. So thank you very much.